Here's why I cannot go to my son's school. So back when my son's dad stole my car out of my driveway, this was like June of 2022, the day of my son's kindergarten graduation. The next day, so his graduation was on a Thursday, and Penelope, my 14-year-old, her graduation was, or like into school ceremony. I don't know if it was a graduation. Her graduation was on a Friday. It was a school day, and that was the day that I was supposed to pick Huxley up from school. I was supposed to get Huxley after school that day. They had the kids separated. Like the only people that would come into the little thing where the program was the kids who were like in the class. So like Penelope wouldn't have been there to see Huxley at his graduation because she was in 6th grade or whatever grade she was in. And Huxley was, in kindergarten. So you were only there if it was your program. So Huxley was not going to be at Penelope's graduation, even though he was at the school. He would have still been in his classroom or whatever. And I would have got him that day after school. When I showed up to the school, when I like signed in to say that we were there, someone at the school told me that Huxley did not come to school that day. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, is he sick? Did anybody say? So they were like, oh, let me go find out. So they go find out and they're like, no, we didn't hear that he was sick. He didn't show up today. And I was like, oh, okay. That's weird. Because his dad hadn't told me that he wasn't going to be at school or anything like that. So I sent an email to his dad while we're sitting there waiting for the program to start. And generally when I would pick Huxley up from school, like on Fridays, I would get him from the regular carpool line, the nightmare carpool line. If I was picking him up on Wednesdays, because I would also get Huxley for 2 hours on Wednesday, but it wouldn't be until 5 o'clock. We would just do the exchange in the school parking lot. If it was, and I would take him back on Sunday, we would do the exchange in the school parking lot. But so since he wasn't at school that day, I figured, okay, I guess we're just going to do our exchange, in the school parking lot. I sent his dad an email, basically saying like, I understand Huxley's not at school today, and he's not sick or whatever. Not sure, why he stayed out, but in the future, if you could just let me know, I'll pick Huxley up from the parking lot at the regular time. And then Penelope has her performance. We go home. And then I go back up there at if I was going to get him from the school parking lot line, I would have been there at like 2:30 because the line is like crazy, but I wasn't getting him from the line. So I showed up at like 3:15. I can't remember the exact time that I showed up, but it was close to the 3:20 mark, which is when they would get let out of school. So I go to the parking lot. I see his dad's car in the parking lot. I pull up next to the car, or not next to the car, but like a few spaces away, like I normally would when we're doing exchanges when he's not in school. His dad drives away and drives up to the front of the school. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Maybe he wants me to drive over there. He never responded to my email. So I drive over to where his car is at the front of the school. He gets out and goes inside the school and takes my son inside the school. So I'm like, okay, still, I don't know what's going on. I'm supposed to be picking Huxley up. So me and Penelope get out of the car, go inside the school. When I go inside the school, I don't see him, and I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to be picking Huxley up. But you guys had told me earlier today he wasn't at school, but I just saw his dad bring him in, and I'm not really sure what's going on because I'm supposed to be picking him up. So I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So she's like, okay, let me find out, have a seat. Me and Penelope sit down. Next thing I know, it was like this huge thing. I got administrators coming out yelling at me, you know what you've done, you're a horrible person, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? I'm just here to get my son, and y'all aren't giving me my son. And they're like, it's not the end of the school day. I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's the end of the school day. He wasn't at school today. I don't know, and this is not a public school. I don't know any school that would accept a child at the end of the school day just to put them in the school dismissal line, like why they would take on that liability. So I really don't think that they should have been involved in the first place, but neither here nor there. Big thing. I call the police, like they're not giving me my kid. I still don't see him. And then like at exactly 3:30, my son comes out. His dad like opens a door. He was in an office somewhere, opens the door, and my son comes out. I leave with my son. Next thing I know, I had charges for disturbing the peace at a school. And then I had to file charges for an incident that happened during that day, with my daughter. And then there were lawsuits and all of that stuff. So it didn't come from me not being able to go to the school, came from them. Then like the following week, when I went to go pick Huxley up, they came up to me and gave me a thing saying like I wasn't allowed on their property, and if I came on their property I would be trespassing. So there's not a restraining order. They just said I can't come on their property, which means I can't go to anything that Huxley does. I can't pick him up from school or anything like that. Basically, Huxley's dad made friends with them, in my opinion, and was telling them a lot of information like that was going on, mostly stuff that was untrue, because obviously he didn't share everything with them. So that's why I'm not allowed to go to my son's school. So that's one of the reasons that we ask for his school to be changed, because my involvement in his education is limited. I just think the whole thing was like a waste of time, a scene that his dad created for absolutely no reason. Like, what did you take him in the school for? It was my time to pick him up. There was no reason to take him in the school. It was Friday at 3:30. Just give me my son. But he wanted to, from what I understand, he wanted to put him through the pickup line so that I wouldn't get him like right at 3:30, I'm guessing. Which was is so stupid and asinine, because he didn't go to school at all that day. Number one, I could have had him earlier. But number two, what was the whole point of this? Like, literally, it was just to create issues at the school, which it did. And obviously that's an issue, because I can't go to couldn't go to Huxley's Christmas program. When they have like Mother Sunday at the school, I can't go. So, and I'm not saying anything specifically bad about the school. That's an opinion that I reserve. I won't share, but, I just think that generally Huxley's dad should not have involved them, to that degree when Huxley wasn't even at school. If he was at school, I completely understand, but his dad wouldn't even have been there. Like, I would have just picked Huxley up from the carpool line. And if you wanted him to go on the carpool line, he should have taken him up there at like 2:30 or 3:00. But you're not even supposed to pick kids up from like inside after a certain time, because they don't want any confusion with the carpool line. So it was just a mess. Everything has been dropped, except for they still say that I'm not allowed to come on the school property or anything like that, or I would be considered trespassing. So just when people are like, oh, just do this for your kid, do this, there's consequences for everything that you do. So because I went inside the school, a school that I was allowed to go inside of, to try to figure out what was going on with my son, and had a seat, what they told me to have a seat, that resulted in me now not being able to go to the school. So I would love for Huxley to be in a public school, so that it's a bigger system. And public schools, I think, are more used to dealing with situations where there's multiple homes. Mom and dad don't live in the same house, and these people both need the grades, and these people both need to be made aware of school calendars and things like that. So that's what we're hoping for Huxley to be able to go to a school that's just bigger, and I feel like both parents should be able to participate. But that's the end of it. There's no restraining order. They just said that they don't want me to come on their property. So it's just like a piece of paper that they typed up and gave to me. It's not an official legal order. But if I were to go on the property, from what I understand, then they could get that. And I'm done dealing with all the troubles. So I'm praying that in our order, when we finally get divorced, hopefully it's soon, that the judge has an opinion about what should happen with school, so that we're both able to participate in Huxley's education. Because as it stands right now, like, that school goes all the way up to 12th grade. Like, I wouldn't be able to go to his senior graduation. Like, I wouldn't be able to go to his graduation. Like, I can't go to anything as it stands right now. So that's it.